Yeah, welcome to another episode of the Round Circle with your host, the Fifth General, Zacchaeus, and Cinema Escapes. Cinema Escapes is not with us this episode, but he will be with us soon. So me and Zacchaeus are here rocking out. Zacchaeus, what up?
It was good. Good to be here with you, Fifth. Yeah, man.
Yeah. So the media's talking about it. Everyone's talking about it. You know, Black Twitter.
Yeah.
Black Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about Jada and Will.
Mm-hmm.
And just want people to know, this is not on some gossip stuff, but, they're a big couple as far as their name because, Will's name, big actor, action star, just actor altogether. Jada Pinkett in her own right, she has her name, but together they're a brand,
Oh yeah.
And they have a talented family, so it's just one of those things that happens. So she admitted that she was in she calls it an entanglement, but she was in a recent, well, not a recent, but some time ago, an affair with singer August Alsina. This is in response to August Alsina's interview with Angela Yee a week before the Red Table Talk episode. So this is what made Jada respond. Originally, Will was not going to be on the show because Will had a prior schedule. But she brought him on the show. That way they could both talk about it and to let people know there's no malice between them. Because I know a lot of people were like, good, now they're going to split up now. That's usually what happens. That's usually what people tend to.
Of course, yeah.
That's usually the first thing people tend to go to. That's, that's typical stuff. Typical stuff. But, they were basically showing that, regardless of what the issues was, that was in the past, they resolved it, and, they're trying to move forward. But it brings us to this subject. Just because it happens to one doesn't mean it could work for all. And I'm not saying that this works. I'm just saying that that's their situation and what they want to handle. But it's not healthy. It's not healthy. So it doesn't make it right. And we're going to talk about that. So we're going to talk about, this whole entanglement. When people get into, entanglements, you know what I'm saying? We're also going to talk about the hypocrisy. What if it was Will who came on this show and had the same story? So,
right.
So we're going to hear from Jada, and I'm going to let Zacchaeus go. We're going to get some things going.
Yes. So
Red Table for me, just all the stuff that's going on in the press. I felt like it was important to come to the table to really clear the air. Somebody made a statement for me that wasn't a statement I made that went cray-cray.
And one of the reasons why I wanted to come to the table is the media, the headlines. We specifically never said anything.
Yeah.
We were purposely not saying anything. Any headline that says Jada said or Will said or the Smith said is not true. We specifically never said anything.
Right.
So coming to the table was like, we just felt like it got to the point where you got to say something.
Yeah, and to stop that cycle.
Yeah.
There's people's feelings involved.
Right.
And at the end of the day, I don't like how all of this came to be. That doesn't matter. It's all love, honestly. And I would usually not, that would be something I wouldn't comment on at all.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's a situation that I consider private.
You just feel like it ain't really nobody's business. But now Black Twitter has claimed it as their business.
But, I feel like it's healing that needs to happen. And I know there's a lot of stuff going on in the world right now.
Yeah.
Even though this is minuscule, I do feel like it's these kinds of things that create the world that we're in. And the idea of not communicating, not talking about it, not clearing the air, and just being as transparent. Just being transparent.
And I'm here with you.
Yeah, I thank you for that, because you've been on a hell of a journey with me. So that's what we're going to start with. This is a very personal journey.
Yeah.
That became very public.
Yes, absolutely.
For whatever reason.
So what happened, Jada?
Okay, so let's start with, I guess about 4.5 years ago.
Yeah.
I think it was about 4 years ago. Started a friendship with August. And we actually became really, really good friends. And it all started with him just needing some help, you know. Me wanting to help his health, his mental state.
Because for me, that was the thing when Aug first came around, he was really sick.
He was really.
Okay, now let's stop there. I'm gonna pause and play for the audience because we're gonna do a breakdown. So let's give a little. Let's put this into better context, and that is August Alsina was introduced to the family by Jaden, their son. He would be more closer to. Well, Jaden's young himself. I mean, you know, it's kind of difficult to kind of say this, but it would make sense for him to be more of Jaden's friend than Jada and Will's friend because of the obvious age difference. You know, Will's 51, Jada's like 48. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, he came into the family as a friend. You know, they look after him. You know what I'm saying? He was going on trips with them and stuff like that. And she just mentioned when he first came into their lives that, you know, he was going through something, you know, health and physically and mentally. So physical health and mental health, you know. So that's what I want people to pay attention to. You know, when it comes to that. I'm going to play a little more, and then I'm going to get your opinion, Zach Hughes.
Really sick,
And the outpouring for him from our family was initially about his health.
Yeah. And I mean, we found all those different resources, you know, to help pull him through. And from there, you know, you and I were going through a very difficult time.
Yeah.
And we decided.
I was done with your ass.
Yeah, you kicked me to the curb.
I was done with you.
Yeah.
Marriages have that, though. Marriages have that.
Yeah, we basically, we broke up.
We decided that we were going to separate for a period of time, and you go figure out how to make yourself happy, and I'll figure out how to make myself happy.
Well, at that particular point in time, it was indefinite.
Yeah, I really felt like we could be over. You know?
We were over.
And then what did you do, Jada?
Well, you know, I think from there, you know, as time went on, I got into a different kind of entanglement with August. And one thing I want to get clear about and clean up, one of the things that was kind of swirling in the press about you giving permission, which is, you know, the only person that can give permission in that particular circumstance is myself.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Zach, here. I'm going to play some more later, but speak to that last thing she just said. She said the only now she corrected what August said, because August said in his interview with Angela Yee that he said Will gave me his blessing. She was saying that's not what happened. And she's saying the only person that could grant permission is myself. Now, she's giving off a sense of I run the show type of attitude. Did you pick up on that kind of thing there?
Listen, I picked up on that because the thing is that when she said that, I was like, okay. Yeah. Now, people that try to understand this open marriage thing, it's like this. It's like...
Well, this is... Let me... Real quick. she's not saying that their marriage is open. The rumors have been that their marriage is open for years. What she's trying to say is they were on a break.
Oh, you're separation.
Right, they were separated, right. Now go ahead and speak to the rest of it.
Yeah, so that she with the entanglement thing, that's the thing that I really grasp. I try to say, okay, entanglement. That okay, they him and her and August got it on. So she gave herself, because they were separated, she gave herself permission to engage with August.
Right.
Now,
who was a very young man at this point.
A young man, yes. Now, I'm gonna get into the other thing later about the hypocrisy on that. But anyway, the thing is that she basically said that she had a long-term affair with August, which can happen. I understand two people spend a lot of time and they get really close, too close for comfort. Yeah. Things can happen.
Right.
Now, I didn't see me and you. I don't know. I don't know what's going on in their relationship. I don't dip into couples' relationship, and this is what I'm hearing now.
Right.
That I didn't even know that Will and Jada would separate. I had no idea.
No, none of us knew.
Yeah. So my thing is this: when now Will said it that to me, when I looked at the video, it looked like he was like kind of tearing. I don't know, but
he looked like he'd been crying.
Yeah, it looked like he was like he's hurt. It looked like he's kind of I mean, I observed that. And I'm like, yo, and I said, man, so it looked like he really wanted Jada, like he really didn't want Jada to he wanted Jada back in his presence and everything. And I scratched my head and said, wait a minute. He's okay, I guess, but this is what people, when you're separated, it's fair game now. You're married, but yet you're separated, meaning that if you was ever married and then all of a sudden you and your wife is now separated now, you become estranged. If you become estranged to each other, have you ever heard the term? Well, this is his estranged wife, meaning that. Yeah. You don't live together. You're not in the same compound. You don't live together. Right. You don't live together with each other. But the thing is with them too is like with celebrities, but with people in general is that now the person in the is not wrong. And what people say is okay. It's not wrong the way that Jada did that. It's not wrong because she's separated from Will. They no longer are. They broke up. They no longer are in the same complex together, so therefore they broke up, so therefore it's fair game. She can have an affair with somebody else, or he can have an affair with somebody else. But according to the scriptures, it says even when you're married, although the Bible says you give time to heal. When you're separated, you give each other time to heal. Now when you give each other time to heal when you're separated from each other, you take time off, or you give time each time to heal from whatever situation, whatever turmoil you're going through at the moment, at the time of the relationship. Now, it's according to the Bible. Oh yes, it's wrong. Oh yeah, she fornicated. Is wrong. She's wrong. But according to the world, she's not wrong because they're separated and it's fair game. She can have a affair with August. But my thing is this, man. It was like when I was watching Will, I was like, man, I know it looked like he was hurt really bad. I mean, it's not a good thing to discussing, but it's something that makes you want to think that, man, imagine if you're with somebody, and maybe you separated for a little bit, or maybe a year or so, and then you have an affair with somebody else. And you have an affair with somebody else, and you're like, "Oh wow, we had something going on together." It makes you scratch your head. It makes it. What it did was just open up avenue for discussion. Now, Will and Jada speak as two Hollywood people, two people, but in a way, like I remember what Jada said. And Will said, this gonna be later on the audio where it says, "Listen, bad marriage for life."
Well, hold on. Too soon. Let's play some more. I'll give the mic back to you.
Yeah. Okay. But what August was probably trying to communicate, because I could actually see how he would perceive it as permission, because we were separated amicably.
Yeah.
And I think he also wanted to make it clear that he's not a homewrecker, which he's not.
I think so. I mean, because this is your red table, and you like brought yourself to the red table. I think you need to say clearly what happened.
As far as what?
You and I decided we were going to take our space, and what happened.
Yeah, and then I got into an entanglement with August. That's what I said.
An entanglement?
Yes. Yes.
A relationship.
Yes, it was a relationship. Absolutely.
You stop right there.
He took it very lightly.
Well, because she said the words, she used a word. It's like now we're gonna say a word to kind of undermine the power of what actually happened. So instead of saying affair or relationship, you say entanglement.
Entanglement.
It's almost like, well, let me use this word. That way I won't be held to the same accountability if I would have said the other word. Speak to that.
Right.
Speak to that, Zacchaeus.
You see, entanglement is a term that's basically it's a metaphor. Not entanglement. You know, me and you know what that is.
It's a very vague. It's a very vague word.
But we we automatically know what she meant when she said entanglement.
Exactly. But explain her choice of word. Like why say that? Because it just and then you laugh and then they laugh after it.
Well, you know what it is? She didn't want to look like she did anything wrong.
Right.
She didn't want to look like she didn't want to look like, oh man, I cheated on my husband.
Right.
She didn't want to see, remember, she has an image too. She has a brand. What with her will have a brand to protect.
Right.
So Jada didn't want to come off like she was putting herself in the hot seat.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean, the hot seat, meaning that she didn't want to look like, oh, I had this big, so she chose the word. She used the words wisely, and she chose the words like entanglement to brush off the media, saying, okay, it's an entanglement. Entanglement is like you said before, is a vague. Entanglement can mean like we hugged or we did this or we did that, but
right.
But a mature audience know what entanglement meant when she said entanglement.
Well, because they're trying to put two and two together. They're basing it off of August's interview.
Yeah.
And then they're basing it off her interview. I'm not going into August's interview because it's just too long. But it's just the accountability, the responsibility, just taking it out. And I know some people are listening to this and saying, yo, but it's their business. Okay, fine. But she originally said in the beginning that two people were that people's lives were involved. You know what I'm saying? And that they said August was sick. So we want to keep that theme. I'm gonna play some more and I'm gonna give it back to you, Zacchaeus.
I was in a lot of pain and I was very broken. Now, in the process of that relationship, I definitely realized that you can't find happiness outside of yourself. And luckily enough, you and I were also going through a process of healing in a much different manner. I would definitely say we did everything that we could to get away from each other, only to realize that wasn't possible.
So we come into the red table. So I'm in the Jada position right now. So, you during that time launched into an interaction with August. What do you feel like you were looking for?
I just wanted to feel good. It had been so long since I felt good. And it was really a joy to just help heal somebody.
Yeah.
I think that has a lot to do with my codependency.
Zacchaeus. She said a few things we need to unpack. She wanted to feel good. She wanted to help. But what actually happened is that she really wanted to help herself.
Let me tell you something. Oh, she used, but August, she in the beginning was helping August, whatever the pain that August was going through. But at the same token, she had a situation with Will. She had a problem in their relationship with Will. So the thing is that during that entanglement, I heard now she's told the truth now.
Yeah.
She wanted to feel good.
There you go.
She wanted to feel good. Now I'm gonna say this, man, and I'm gonna jump out and say this, that if Will would have said that, if Will had the engagement and Will would have said that, how would the media look at Will?
Before you get there, before we get there, let's make sure we don't miss this point, because like I said, she dropped a few nuggets in there. She said, "I wasn't happy," and me and you can't find happiness outside of yourself. And then she also said that them two were not in a bad space. So she's trying to share the responsibility with Will. If you pay attention, she's trying to say that you got something to do with me going to him.
Yeah.
Speak to that. Speak to that.
In other words, her and Will at that moment, at the time, was in a bad place.
Right.
And because she said she didn't feel good in a long time.
Yeah.
So therefore, August brought that out in her.
Right.
August brought that intimacy that her and Will at the moment lacked.
Yeah.
You see? Mm-hmm. So August was like her pillow.
Yeah.
Her comfort zone. In other words, that August made her feel good about herself. August made her feel August, if you know what I mean. August scratch the itch. If you know what I mean.
Let's not forget he was sick.
Yeah, he was sick. Yeah.
So she wanted to feel good, but she said she felt joy in helping someone. Is it that she felt joy in helping him, or joy that he was helping her? Like what? Because hurt people, and I hope I'm not going too fast. Hurt people can't heal each other. Am I right?
Yeah, like I said, two broken people. If you have one broken person and another broken person, how are they mending each other? If two people are broken, they can't mend each other. They both hurt.
It's impossible.
So therefore, although August was going through his emotional thing, she was also going through her thing. Right. They both wanted to make each other feel good. You see? They both at that moment at time wanted to make each other feel good.
Well, because she didn't have her husband. So think about it. Think about it this way, because we need to open up the minds of the audience when I say this. August, at that moment, became Jada's husband.
Oh, yes.
Think about that.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
She didn't have her husband, the one that she made the vows to. He didn't have his wife.
Mm-hmm.
But August, at that moment, became her husband.
Yes.
At the time.
Yes. Because, at the time.
Yeah.
Young dude, but like I said before, man. Whew.
All right, and we're gonna play a little more. I'm gonna get back to you.
Yeah.
Which is another thing that I had to learn to break in this cycle. Just that idea of needing to fix and being drawn to people that need help, whether it's your health or whether it's your addictions. Mm-hmm. There's something about that childhood trauma that feels as though it can be fixed through fixing people versus fixing me.
Yeah.
And I think that whole process with Aug really showed me that and taught me that. And I'm really grateful for that lesson.
I feel like that husband, like I'm with you at the press conference. I'm that husband. Now I got to be with you at the press conference while you like tell the world about your transgressions.
Well,
like I love my baby. I'm gonna stand by my baby no matter what.
Well, you know, I definitely understand why it would look that way or feel that way, but I actually don't look at it as a transgression at all. Through that particular journey, I learned so much about myself and was able to really confront a lot of emotional immaturity, emotional insecurity, and I was really able to do some really deep healing. You know, and as I came through and started to realize certain things about you and I, he decided to break all communication with me, which was totally understandable. And I
Okay. A few things we need to unpack there. She said that when they were trying to figure out things between each other, that August stepped away and cut off all communication, which, let me just say this, that's the best thing Austin can do. You know, that August could do. You know why? Because to heal from that, you have to be away from the source that broke you. Now, this is somebody who was broken according to them and according to him in his interview. And she talked about her healing process and her healing journey, but he never got healed. And Jada hasn't either. If we listen closely to her, she talked about childhood trauma. She had a rough life growing up. Her and her mother, all of that. I get that.
Yeah.
But she talked about how she's drawn to people and fixing herself was fixing other people. But he never got fixed. So this is the problem when you can't heal with somebody. You have to heal by yourself.
Yes, and entanglement only makes it complicated.
Absolutely. Especially somebody who's a much younger man who's not as experienced as her.
Man, oh man, if Will would have done. Oh, okay.
No, we'll get to that. We'll definitely get to that. But Zacchaeus, I want you to speak to this whole thing about her saying that. God, I'm losing my. What was I saying? Oh, about the healing process and about, what she learned about herself. But what did August learn? You know what I'm saying? Because August probably looked up to them. Admiration for somebody you're trying to have a relationship with is very different. You've already had prior admiration for them.
What it does is it changes the dynamics of the relationship. It changes the dynamics of the relationship because if you're trying to help someone and then you get into an entanglement with them, it's confusion.
Yeah.
It brings confusion because now he sees you in a different light now. He don't no longer see you as Jada. Oh, Jada, my someone that's a friend and someone that can help me.
Right, my friend's mom.
Yeah, my friend's mom that can help me. He sees her as, oh, Jada.
Yeah.
Damn.
He might have fell in love with this woman because he talked about how much he felt for her. Yeah,
because as you can see, as another interview when August was getting interviewed, is how he paused. And the way how it's nobody's. If you're gonna talk about a friend, talk about a friend straight. This man took his time. He paused. He was like, Jada is a special friend.
Yeah.
And he said, and the best friend. And the way how he expressed that, you can tell it's not a normal friendship. It's not a normal connection. It's more deeper than what it is,
Right.
So yeah. So this audio, this red table that Jada sat at and expressed herself to Will is like, it was a physical healing process for her because let's face it. Now, some people, and especially when they're not getting that entanglement for a long period of time, and then when they finally find it,
when they're not getting what they need from their spouse, let's just say that, because entanglement is her word, but we all know what the situation is.
Yes.
So okay, go with that. I'm sorry, I just wanted to put that in there.
Yeah, and then she's missing that.
Yeah.
Because Jada, 48, you're still fairly young. Still got your little, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you're you're old, no disrespect to the old ladies out there. No disrespect.
Jada's good. Jada's good. Keep going.
Yeah, she's good. She's good, man. So it's just that at her, she's lacking what the spouse usually gives her. So August was the one that at that moment filled that void that she was missing. That emotional, entanglement, that feeling, or make me feel like a woman kind of thing,
Yeah, but
so it's yeah.
But because it was convenient, because he was in the circle,
Mm-hmm.
so he was right there. She didn't have to go out there and fish for anybody. He happened to be right there. So
at that moment,
right.
Yeah.
So we don't know how long the build-up for them two was. That's not discussed on this Red Table Talk. So we don't know. We don't know how long he'd been with the family, and in total years. And maybe this is another reason why Will is so hurt, because he's saying, "Hold on, this man had been around us for all this time." And you guys having an affair. Look, it's still an affair, whether they were separated or not. If you're legally married to somebody and you have a relationship within that time period, that's an affair. I know some people will say it's not an affair because they were separated. Yeah, but they were still married. And if Will was doing this, although there's rumors of Will doing this, they call all of those affairs and cheating. So let's keep that same energy with the woman. So anyway,
exactly. Hey, hello.
Because he'd been around, some would say, well, maybe that buildup from them two was going on before them two separated. We don't know, but that could have been the situation. I'm gonna play some more, and I'm gonna get back to you, Zacchaeus.
Let that be, and hadn't talked to him since.
Right.
So it is a little weird that all this stuff is coming out now, since this was
because for me this was years ago, right? So the fact that it's coming up now, and I think it could feel weird for people that we're laughing and talking about it, but
it happened so long ago,
and our experiences of working through it, fighting through it, talking through it, and therapizing through it. I think that the why now is weird.
Yeah. When I say it's been a huge healing on my life, and just what I had to confront and discover, about myself, the ugly truths and the beauty. Mm-hmm. So it was something that I felt like wasn't really ready to be discussed, because there hadn't been that healing, because he hasn't wanted to, Aug and I haven't talked in so long. You know what I mean? So I don't know. This all seemed very strange, But I'm grateful for the journey that you and I have had together. Yeah. Because I feel like there are a lot of couples that go through those periods. Yeah. And a lot of couples that have to separate and think it's over. And, the one thing I'll say about you and I is that there's never been secrets.
Right. We came together young, and we were both broken in our own ways, and to be able to make mistakes without the fear of losing your family is so critical.
Yeah. It's the idea of any relationship and trying to get to deeper understanding of love is going to be forged in fire. Yeah. There's no way around it. Yeah. And I think that one of the things that I'm deeply grateful in this whole process between you and I is that we have really gotten to that new place of unconditional love.
Because I wasn't sure I was ever going to speak to you again.
I know.
Yeah, the fact that I'm speaking to you again is...
Okay, let me just stop it real quick because I don't want to go too long without talking. He said something very interesting, and I want people out there to understand why you really have to be ready to be married. A lot of people are married, want to get married, but a lot of people are not ready to get married. I'm talking about the ones who are already married.
Yeah.
He said we were two both broken people in our own ways coming together. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a recipe for disaster. So that would mean during the time of you guys' marriage, you guys were, and I don't want to judge 100%, but one wasn't ready to be a husband and one wasn't ready to be a wife. So then you were trying to work out what you could be to each other before you got married. Mm-hmm. That is difficult. Zacchaeus, speak to that.
It's like this. Listen, we all have problems in our life, but when you're broken and you have challenges and you have deep challenges, insecurities that you haven't gotten over yet, and then you come in with your insecurities to a marriage, and he's broken. He has his insecurity. He has his self-worth. His worth that he don't think too great of himself. He's coming broken, and she's broken too, because. And then when you get together, it is a recipe for disaster, because you see the thing is that one broken man, one broken woman, it becomes a broken marriage. So it does become a challenge in a relationship. You see, when you love yourself and you learn to and you appreciate yourself and you have self-worth, you don't just settle for anything. But you have to, with your self-worth and your confidence and your prayer and your self-worth and your trust in God and your self-worth, and you just build yourself up by praying and spirit build your spiritual man up and building yourself up. And then she's doing that too. Then you complement each other. But you see, when two people are confused, there's a whole bunch of massive confusion, and she's confused, and she don't know what direction she's going in, and you don't know what direction you go in. It becomes a recipe for disaster, ladies and gentlemen.
But you realize the pattern here. He said that they were both broken. Let's not miss this. She said early in the video that she was that her herself, before her and August got with each other, he was broken and she was broken. Think about it.
This is why they're in this predicament.
Thank you.
Because you see, the thing is that, Will, although he's a superstar, he said something one day. This is beyond the round table, the red table.
Yeah.
He said that he always lived to please people. If he doesn't please people, he beats himself up.
Okay, now that's an issue.
And and even in Hollywood, he always aimed to, he's a people pleaser. He always aimed to please people and always aimed to lift, try to please and make everyone happy. If he doesn't do that, it causes he beats himself up for that.
Well, that's an insecurity.
Yes, that's an insecurity. Now, Jada, has emotional roller coaster up and down. So at the time she was going through her ills growing up and everything, so she come with some issues too.
Yeah,
and therefore they can't complement each other because they still haven't overcome their brokenness.
Exactly. So I'm gonna play some more.
Is a miracle.
I would agree.
No, but it ain't for the weak at heart. There's just certain things that you have to go through, and it's like.
And I wish you know, I wish that wasn't the case. I do. I wish that wasn't the case.
I sure wish it could be all magic and miracles.
Yeah. You got to go through some to get the answers. Mm-hmm. You know, and I'm just happy because I definitely believe that you and I, we never, ever, ever thought that we would make it back.
Yeah, there's a real power in just knowing somebody's riding with you no matter what.
Yeah.
And you really can't know that
until you go
through some stuff, you know. I don't want to go through this no more.
Yeah, no, I don't either.
Yeah. I'm going to get you back first. And then
you're going to get me back. I think you got me back. I think we're good on that, okay?
Okay, that's probably true.
You know, but and I don't think it's about getting anybody back.
No, for me it is.
Okay. I'll give you that petty if that's what you want. But, you know, I will definitely say it's just part of it.
Yeah.
You know, if you expect to be with somebody for a lifetime.
25 years and counting.
We ride together.
We die together.
Bad marriage for life.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
It's the truth.
It's the truth.
But yeah, it's just part of the journey.
I told you the first year we were married.
What'd you tell me?
That I can love you through anything.
And I didn't believe you.
Yeah.
If somebody looked through a crystal ball and said, this, and this is going to happen, I'd be like, no way.
Yeah. You thought I was that I didn't have the girth that it was going to take to ride with you through.
Yeah. I didn't know if you would be willing to find the deep capacity to love me.
Yeah. How am I doing?
You're doing great.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Zacchaeus, there's a lot of just crazy stuff right there and dysfunctional stuff right there. I have no more to play, and I know some people are used to how I talk on this show and Mrs. E and Fifth. I've been a little conservative with my timing by me really going off, but I'm about to now. Okay, now that that's over with, let me just say this. First of all, the reason why this is such a big deal, other than the fact of them being stars, is because I notice in the black dating world, a lot of young black people, whether my age or younger than me, I would hope not older than them, but a lot of young black people, young black men and women, you know, one of the examples that they look for as a good marriage is Will and Jada. Well, you know, they look to them. They look to, they look more at them than they would Felicia Rashad and Ahmad Rashad. Okay? So, yeah. I know it's their business, and yes, she came forward because she wants to control the narrative, which she should. Don't let the media speak for you. When you are the media, you can speak for yourself. But it's very irresponsible for them to get up there and joke like that when you got this young man out here, August Alsina. He's probably, I don't know how old he is. He's probably 39, I don't know. But he needs help, and Will and Jada need help. Okay? She didn't heal. Will obviously has some internal things going on. He hasn't healed. The moral, there was no moral to that story other than the fact of this is just how our marriage is, and we're gonna stick it out. And Will said that they were life partners and stuff like that. So regardless of how it is, but I just want to say this is toxic. First of all, you do not have to be in a marriage that is killing you on the inside. Like killing you mentally, killing you physically, killing you spiritually. You do not need to be in a marriage like that. That is self-destruction. So we have to make sure that we don't have other people saying we ride together, we die together, bad marriage for life, quoting Bad Boys. You know what I'm saying? And then now we're going to get into what I think is hypocritical on the man's side. Let's do a role reversal. So Willow brings in a young woman who she's friends with. This woman just so happens to be 22 years old. I guess August was in his young 20s when he met.
Yeah.
She's in her young 20s. Whatever her name is. She's been with the family, going on trips with them, family vacations. During Will and Jada's separation, Will ends up getting with this woman. This woman goes on a platform and says, you know, we were in a relationship, and Jada gave me her blessing and all this other stuff. Okay?
Wow.
And then Will gets on in and he says, yeah, I was going through something, and, you know, we were going through something. We were separate at the time, so I just wanted to feel good. Can you imagine what would have happened to Will's career if he would have disclosed a situation like that using her words, not changing any words, using the exact words that she had for August? Can you imagine if Will had those words for another woman and he was talking to Jada right there in that instance? Zach Hears, what do you think could have happened?
Will would have been, especially with the age, Will would have been considered like he's a pervert.
He would have been seen as a sexual deviant.
Yes.
They probably would have said he was Me Too.
Yep.
They probably would have called him a predator. They would have called him those words, a predator, because they would have been like, yo, what the heck are you moving in on, you know, your daughter's friend, and she's young, and you're older man, you know how to handle things. There are things that you've been through that one hasn't been through. This woman is hurt. You broke this woman. You know, can you imagine?
Exactly. I can imagine what Will would have. Will would have been messed up financially too. They would have pulled every endorsement Will did. They would have been like, nah, you're involved in what? You did what? She possibly would have exaggerated. Yeah, Will was in that tables would turn and Will was saying all these things. Man, Will would be so much ridiculed.
Well, I could give an example. You remember Eddie Murphy?
Yes.
And when his situation going on, and he got with he wasn't married at this time, but he got with Melanie B. Well, he might have been married at this time. I don't know. He got with Melanie B from the Spice Girls, known as Scary Spice for those that don't know as Melanie B.
Okay.
He had a child with Mel B. Mel B had the child, claimed he was the father. He was like, man, I don't know if I'm the father or not. I don't know.
Wow.
This was during when Dreamgirls came out.
Oh, the movie, yeah.
The DNA test comes out. He's the father. Eddie Murphy didn't have a role for some years after that.
Wow. Yeah.
And that wasn't no separation, entanglement type of stuff going on. But I remember Hollywood wanted to cancel him.
See that? You see that? Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Same. If tables were turned, same thing they would have did to Will. Oh, let's pull this from him. Let's pull that from him. Oh, look what he's getting. Yeah. Oh, he's a, this guy's a pervert. You would have got all of that already.
Yeah. Well, see, this is what happens when you get into these situations like this. People, this is very irresponsible. I would hope that they would have used this platform to say, listen, this is what we went through, but at the end of the day, we praying for August, and pray for us too. But you out there, don't try this same thing and think that this is gonna help heal your marriage. You can't look to other people and to have other affairs to heal your marriage. You know how when people say you don't know what you had until it's gone? You do not want to experiment that in your relationship or marriage. You know what I'm saying? Because Zacchaeus, there have been many of people who have gotten divorced totally. And my whole thing is just get a divorce. If it's this bad and you want to go out and you want to try other people, then why stay married? You know what I'm saying? If you're not going to dedicate yourself to the vows that you made and the things that come with marriage, why even stay married? And then also, I don't understand this whole thing about people. You have some, not all, women actually giving Jada her props and giving Will his props for saying I could love you through anything. Wow. Listen, I remember how many women came at Beyonce when Jay-Z admitted to his affair on the 444 album, Affairs, because it was more than one. Yeah. You know how many women said Beyonce was stupid and foolish and you should leave that man. Jay-Z not even cute. He looked like a camel. Why you staying with him? You know how many? You know how many women were rooting for her to leave Jay, and then she said that she forgave him, and that's her business.
Right, I remember that. Yeah.
So that same energy is not for Jada and Will. You're not encouraging for Jada to leave Will. You're not encouraging for Will to leave Jada. Why? Because she the one who did it? No. I'm not going for that. Zacchaeus, speak to that, man.
Yeah, man. It's like this. When you are Will and Jada is like this. It's that, like I said before, they gotta protect the brand. And that laughter at the end was more like they laughed it off. But when you're in a situation where you're consistently cheating on your spouse, you're separated. Do yourself a favor, because it causes that thing right there causes a lot of confusion, man. I'm telling you, it's crazy because there's a lot of emotions, mixed emotions in that realm. A whole lot of mixed emotions in that. So, and you don't want to, and let me tell you something. When I see, Will laughed it off, but
that man's hurt.
Me, he's hurt though.
Yeah,
I don't think he laughed it off, but he's hurt.
Well, he's a different type of character of man. I'm not trying to call him soft or a punk, but if this would have been a man with the mindset of that of a Michael Jai White, I don't think he would have been on here laughing and giggling. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That wouldn't have been his get down, you know?
Right.
And you just said to me that Will said he has this thing about pleasing people. Yeah. So this is what you're seeing. You're starting to see that trait that he has in action on that show. The man's hurting, but at the same time, he's trying to please her. You know what I'm saying? But it made him look kind of weak. I know some people were saying, oh, Will's strong for saying he could love her through anything. And then she said that they just figured out unconditional love. So it took for them to have these situations happen and to have unconditional love. I don't understand that. You know what I'm saying?
I mean that they have love. They have love for each other.
Well,
like a brother sister love. They have a genuine love for each other. Like, in other words, she can do wrong. Like in the audio it said, like when Jada said, you could be in a corner with your whatever.
You talking about on a different episode? Yeah, she did say this right in front of her daughter.
Yep, and I could come in a different.
She said you could have your thing on this end of the house, and I could have my thing on this end of the house. But just understand, in this marriage, we're sticking together. We're not. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now that's disgusting. Because you said that right in front of your daughter, who's not even 21 yet, and then you said that in front of your mother too.
Yeah.
So that there is madness, and it also shows. She said that was what she said when they got married. Will should have never married her, because that lets you know that she was not marriage material, Will. And this is Will's second marriage. Because he was married to his first wife was what he had his first son with. When he was on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah.
Okay. So they should have, after seeing this, I know we got the 2 kids here. You know, Jaden and Willow are here because of them 2. But these 2, based off of what she said on this episode and prior episodes of Red Table Talk, these 2 should have never got married, because here Jada got married, was trying to be a wife. Will felt like he could be a husband to her. I guess he thought if he married her and the time that they had together being married, that she will become the wife that he needs her to be. That's not how you come into a marriage.
Right.
That goal has to be on the woman's side. That can't be on the man's side. Oh, I just hope that she could be a good wife. No.
Well, see, a lot of people come into marriage with the perception of, well, he has to make me totally happy.
Oh, please speak to that, please.
No. Let's break that down. Now, when you come into a marriage, you don't depend on that spouse for your full entirety of happiness. When you get into a marriage, you're supposed to that's your helpmate. That's your mate that you're supposed to embrace each other with. That's the person that you fell in love with, but that's also your helpmate. Sometimes you're not gonna always. This is when it comes to love and emotion. You're not gonna always feel like today he make me. Today I feel like. Some days you might feel like you don't want to be bothered with him. Some days you're gonna feel like you don't want to be bothered with her. Some days you're gonna feel like, well, and this is all emotions. And this is why people break up, because they don't stick to the vows, but they let their emotions run wild. Oh, she's supposed to make me feel good. In other words, at a moment in time, August was supposed to make her feel good. That brought her a little joy and happiness. She was in a dark place, but August was the one that brought her happiness. Sorry,
but he was in a dark place, and he was coming to the family for help. So how's his healing process? This is why we got to keep an eye on him, because I'm concerned for his process, because you know what always gets ignored, sadly, is because he's a man, he'll be all right. You know, that's usually that's what's usually said when a man gets hurt. Oh, he a man, he'll be all right.
You know why? Because women are considered emotional beings, strongly emotional beings. We're supposed to be strong mentally. We're supposed to be stronger than a woman. In that sense, women are very emotional beings, very emotional. So therefore, she got to be comforted. We cannot be comforted because we're supposed to be the men, and men don't cry. Think same situation, you know. So we gotta humble ourselves, and we gotta learn to actions. Be responsible for your own actions, and learn from your mistakes, and therefore you can grow. So we can, and it's like I'm leaning on August to bring me happiness, because I was at a dark place. I was not feeling good. Listen, and when you already lost, when you have that mentality and mind state that, well, I always want him to work. Oh, he can work and he can bring in all the money. I want to marry a guy that's. Women get the big misconception of marriage. In other words, he's supposed to bring me my happiness. He's supposed to bring me we're supposed to be fully financially secured. Well, all women look for that too. And emotionally, he's supposed to be there. Like happiness, he's supposed to be there for me emotionally. He's supposed to satisfy my emotional needs. No. And that's where affairs happen. And that's where confusion happen, and all these things that brings on your marriage, that make it cheap.
Well, because, and we're gonna have to close the show, but and might have to bring it to another episode. But one of the things I want to say, just to kind of piggyback on what you're saying, there are burdens on both sides on what to do in a marriage as far as taking care of the family, but it's a little different for a man as far as what a man is designed in nature. His way of making sure that the family is happy is being a provider. Making sure that there's a roof over the head of you and your family, making sure there's food on the table, coming home, being there, being a responsible husband, a responsible father, and then still trying to make time for that quality time between a husband and a wife and stuff like that. All of these things play a factor. That doesn't mean that a man is going to able to fill all areas of happiness. He's unaware of that because men are not nurturers by nature. Women are typically are. This is what men look for when they want to pick a woman as their wife. They're hoping they get the nurturing type. They hope for it, But these are things that men show their love and gratitude towards a woman, is making sure that things are taken care of. You know what I'm saying? A woman could say that, well, I appreciate him doing all of that, but I feel like he doesn't listen to me enough. I feel like, the man then came home and all he does is go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? Or he done, no marriage is perfect, but we have to understand that you must have happiness before you get married. And, if the husband or the wife is doing everything that they know to do and keeping the family unit together as a whole, then you have to discuss with your husband or wife exactly what it is that is making you unhappy.
That's right.
And secondly, if you step out on your husband, step out on your wife, you can't say that it was their fault that this happened. You know what I'm saying? Or you're making them share the responsibility. Well, things wasn't going too well between me and you, so I might as well just go ahead and do what I got to do. Because he said, we split up and you go and figure out how to make yourself happy, and I go how to figure out make myself happy. Lord knows what Will did. I mean, there were rumors that he was tied to several women, but there was never any real proof. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But, this is the kind of situation that we don't need this to carry on to other marriages. This is not going to work. It didn't work for Tisha Campbell and Dwayne Martin to get a divorce. So obviously it didn't work for them. Lisa Ray and her husband, the one that was the president or prince of one of them islands.
Prime Minister.
Right,
yeah.
right. That didn't work for them. They got a divorce. It didn't work for Toni Braxton and her marriages. No. It didn't work for Jennifer Lopez and her marriages. It didn't work for Halle Berry and her marriages. The point I'm making is, don't you take this formula of Will and Jada and think you could apply this to your life to fix whatever marriage problems you have. That is not something you want to do. And for the other things we need to talk about, we'll just save it for another show. Before we get out of here, Zacchaeus, any last words?
Yeah. So, before you get married, ladies and gentlemen, always be careful. Be mindful of who you date, and be careful who you have children with. Because look at and just be mindful of who you let me keep using the word entanglement, who you embrace. So that's my last words.
Yeah. And before we go, just understand what else is also deadly? I wanted to say this and I thought about this. It just came back to my mind. Is that marriage is spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
And when you take on other spirits
Mm-hmm.
into the marriage,
Mm-hmm.
even though the person that wasn't in the affair, understand
Mm-hmm.
that the other person involved the other spirit into that.
Yeah.
And Will and Jada and Will spirit is entangled. Well, for a good reason, because they're married.
Yeah, see? Yeah.
But the bad thing is Austin's spirit, and although he came from what she said, he was sick, he was coming from a dark place. That spirit is entangled with Jada.
Wow.
Jada and Will spirits are one, according to the Bible. I know some people don't believe this, but just understand the language that you speak. You know, you might not say spirits, you might say energies. Their energies are intertwined. Well, that's what's going on. But guess what? She brought in another energy, another spirit. And now that spirit, guess what, is entangled with Will too.
Yes.
How about that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm done.
Oh, yeah.
I'm done. Zacchaeus, where can they reach you, man?
You can reach me on Facebook, Wayne Zacchaeus Bacchus on Facebook. Also, Wayne B73 on Twitter. That's Wayne B73 at Wayne B73 on Twitter. Also on Instagram, Zacchaeus B73. That's Zacchaeus B73. Bless.
All right. Y'all can get at me at the Fifth General on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at the Fifth General. THE5TH General. I usually don't spell it out for people, but for those who were looking and couldn't find it, the Fifth 5TH General. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get up out of here. We'll see Cinema Escape soon, but for now, me and Zacchaeus are gonna take over a few episodes until Cinema's return of the Round Circle. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.
Peace.